Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I've just set up this chair in front of the window and I'm gonna just sit down and kind of have a bit of a chat. I'm gonna answer some of your questions that you sent me on Instagram stories. I have them written down here and I'll like pop them up on the screen as I answer them. And yeah, I kind of woke up in a bit of a weird mood this morning. I feel like it, as I said in other videos, it kind of comes in waves, but I figured the best way to hopefully get out of that mood is to just distract myself and do something that I enjoy doing, and that is creating videos. So I figured this was a good day to film this one, and I've been meaning to do it for a while. I know I've seen some people kind of do Q&As on Instagram stories and stuff, but I figured it's actually good to do it on YouTube as well, because you can just put it on the background. You don't have to like read text or anything. So if you're out for a walk or you're making dinner at home or whatever, you can just listen to me and hopefully I won't bore you too much. So I have all the questions written down, so I'll just get right into it. It's going to be like a very candid, casual chat. So the first question, which was definitely the most common question that asked, probably like of all the questions that got sent through, this was 1/3 of them was this question. And it is, are you going to stay in New York or go back to Ireland through this COVID-19 crisis? And right now we're staying put, and that's kind of the decision we've come to at the moment. I know everyone's situation is completely different, and I just think you have to do what feels right for you. And obviously everyone has their reasons if they leave or if they stay or whatever it is, and just for us right now it feels like the right thing to do to stay, kind of for the main reason that like this is like my home. I feel like it would almost be more unsettling for me to go, you know, into isolation somewhere in Ireland. I wouldn't obviously be able to go back to my home house. I'd have to go to isolation for 14 days. So it would be very like out of sorts, and I think that would actually, you know, affect my mind a bit more. So for now we're gonna stay. I will say though, it is so scary in New York. Like every day I wake up and I see the numbers rising, and it is, I think I read this morning that we have almost half the cases in New York, like out of all of America, all of the US. So it's really scary times here, and obviously I'm very worried if I do get sick. Like going to a hospital here right now just sounds like really tough. You know, they're under so much pressure. There's so many cases in New York, so that's the hard part. But then you also have the side about like, if we leave, you know, what if we pick up something on the flight home and bring it back with us to Ireland? Like there's just all these things that run through your mind. So right now I just feel okay here. This could change in a few weeks or a month if it gets really bad here, and I just come to the stage where like I physically don't feel okay here, or like Tommy or Kellen and David, we might change our mind. And our mom, I know, would be so happy if we came home. She's like rightly so really worried about us being here. You know, the four of us, we're like all her children basically. So yeah, I know it would put her mind at ease, and it's very hard seeing her worried, but we're just gonna play it by ear, day by day, week by week. But right now we've decided that the right thing is for us personally is to stay. So that's the answer to that one. I'll get that out of the way because that's kind of what everyone wanted to know. I'll kind of just stick on coronavirus questions just for the beginning, and then the rest will be like normal questions. But there was another one. It was, did you have any trips planned which were cancelled because of all this? Yeah, we did. But isn't it funny? Like, I think at the very beginning I was disappointed, and now when I look back I'm like, oh my god, that is like nothing in the grand scheme of things. You know, we can go on those trips whenever we can in the future. We were actually supposed to be going to St. Bart's in the Caribbean this Saturday with the brand. I was really excited about it. I couldn't believe I was like invited on that kind of trip when it came through, but I knew like early on that was going to be cancelled. And then we had a cruise with Revolve that we were supposed to go on like 2 weeks ago, so that was obviously cancelled. I had 2 weddings, which is so hard on the on the couples. We had one in Spain, which we would have been leaving for on April 26th, and then I had one in Donegal, my friend Dervla, which was May 2nd, and then I was planning on being in Ireland for like a lot of May because my cousin was supposed to be getting married the end of May in Ireland. So we had 3 weddings, 2 together and then the 3rd at the end of May. So yeah, we had a lot of cancelled trips, but everything's getting like, you know, the weddings are planned kind of for next year now. Some are at the end of the year, they've changed the date. So fingers crossed everything goes to plan and we can all get traveling soon. But right now it's just like the last thing on my mind. I'm just like want to stay in hibernation for as long as I need to. And I know it's so hard, but you know, it's the safest place we are. Like, the more we can all pull together and actually stay in, obviously getting your walk, however far you can walk in your country or your area, but just staying inside, and hopefully this will all pass soon. So that's coronavirus talk out of the way. I'll try and keep the rest of the video just about normal chat, but I just want to say as well, thank you so much to everyone who's like checked in to see if we're okay. It's honestly been so like amazing. Everyone's been so supportive and so caring, and I'm also trying to be the same for other people that even I follow that are in different countries, or like my family back home, my friends back home. Just like don't forget to keep checking in with people, because even though we're all kind of getting used to this now at this stage and it's kind of becoming, you know, our routine, it's still, people still have bad days and good days, and that's just the way it's going to be. So don't forget to call a friend, check in on people, send them a text, send them a DM, and you never know, it might actually be so much more of a help than you imagine. But anyway, okay, we'll move on to the next question. So what inspired you to move to NYC? Honestly, my dream. So this is a really long story, and I'm not going to like tell the whole thing. I've written it on my blog and everything, but basically I was in college in NUIG in Galway, and I was studying commerce and marketing, but I had just also done a fashion course for a year. I'd started my blog, I was like getting into it, I was loving the fashion side of it. So I decided one summer, everyone was like going off on their J1s, and a lot of my friends were going to California like for the summer on the beach and, you know, different parts of America. But I was like, no, I'll go to New York, I'll get an internship in fashion, and it will like hopefully help me, you know, in my future, and by the time I graduate I'll have this experience behind me, I'll have worked in New York, like it will look really cool, you know, whatever. I had no idea how much I was about to like fall in love with this city. So I came here, I interned for free. Tommy was actually with me at the time, he also did his J1, we were going out at that stage, and I just fell in love. Like, I don't know how to explain it, and people always do say this, but when you come to New York, you just know, like you just know if it's for you. It's not easy, it is so hard here, but you just, yeah, it just kind of like captures you in. So I did that summer, and then I came back the following summer, I interned again, and I just knew I wanted to come back more full time. So as soon as I graduated college, I took a year out to save, I worked, I built up my blog. At the time it was still so small. I built it up in Ireland, started growing my following, and then I moved back here on the graduate visa in 2014, and I worked full-time with the fashion brand. And then a year after that, about a year and a half after that, I was able to go full-time with Retro Flame. So it was really the first summer I came here, I just knew, and then I just lined up everything to get back here. So yeah, long story short, I came here just to get experience that I thought would help me in my career, and then I came here and I was like, okay, this is where I want to build my career and build my life. And almost 6 years later, I'm still here. So the next question, did you and Tommy break up when you moved away? It's an issue I will have to face soon. My boyfriend's moving away. Yeah, we did. So as I mentioned in the last question, we came here on 2 J1s together. We started going out when I was in college in Galway. He was also in college there. We went to like secondary school together, and we were like friends all growing up from like 3rd year, 4th year on. And then we started going out when we both went to college, like officially got together. Then we came here on our J1s, and then we both finished college in Galway at the same time. And then I knew that I wanted to move to New York and go on the graduate visa, but he wanted to go back and do a master's and like obviously further his education. So we kind of came to that mutual agreement where we had to just go our separate ways. And looking back, that was really, really hard. And I moved to New York, he went back to college, did a master's. We really did go our separate ways, you know, kind of moved on with our lives. And even though it was so hard, as I said, neither of us regret doing it, because I feel like it was that time apart. We both were able to go off, do our things, like, you know, develop ourselves, like develop our careers and, you know, better ourselves for the future. And then it was like we were ready to get back together then when we did. So don't be scared. I feel like it's hard because you worry, you know, if you break up, you do have this thing in your head, okay, we'll get back together in a few years. But, you know, sometimes that doesn't happen. Like, one of the people maybe moves on with somebody else, and it's a risk, it's a big risk. But what I always said in the back of my head, if it's meant to be, we'll get back together. If in a couple of years we both are like chatting, and side note, we literally talked every single week, even when we were broken up. Like, we were those people. Like, we still, I think we just still really loved like our friendship. Like, our whole relationship was built from a friendship, and I think that's a really good thing. So we talked the whole time, and then after like 2 years, was it, or like 2.5 years, then Tommy decided to move to New York and we got back together. So it was meant to be. Things happen in the meantime, you know, no relationship is perfect. It's a struggle. It's never going to be smooth sailing. But I do always say, like, do what you have to do. Like, you never want to look back and say to yourself, oh God, I wish I had moved away. You know, have my husband now or whatever it is, and we're living here, but I wish I had moved away and given myself that chance. And then, you know, we could have still got together. So don't have that regret. If you really, really, really want to do something, don't worry about it. Or if your boyfriend wants to do something, you know, let him do it. And then if it's meant to be, it will be, I promise. I'm a big believer in, like, everything does happen if it's supposed to. So that's that one. What is your best piece of business advice? I'm kind of like a broken record and I always say the same thing, but someone told me this like when I started off, and it's just always stuck with me. But it's, the harder you work, the luckier you get. And I really do believe that's true, and it has been the foundation of my whole career. Because, like, it might look like this all happens so easy, and other influencers you follow or YouTubers, you might just think, oh, they're so lucky, like that's just like the dream life. But all the things that happened between, like, doing that first internship in New York and being where I am today, like, so many things happened in the middle of that, and I got so many no's, so many rejections, so many times, like, videos I've done didn't do well, or blog posts or collaborations, you know, so many things go wrong. But the more you keep trying and the more you keep doing and every day trying, one of those days something will pay off and will help you get to the next stage and the next stage and the next stage. And all those internships that you are doing, one of them might pay off and lead to, you know, the next opportunity for you. Or all those cold emails you're sending, like if you're sending 100 emails to brands you want to work with this week, one of them will get back, 2 of them might get back, 10 of them might get back. Like, it's just, the harder you work and the more what's the word, like, the more perseverance you have, it will pay off. And that's just kind of always stuck with me, and learning not to give up and to keep trying. And it's so hard some days and you're just like, what the hell am I doing all this for? But it does work out and you will get your break eventually. And then, kind of sticking on the advice, what's the best relationship advice you could give? As I mentioned, no relationship is perfect. We all have our ups and downs, but I will say, kind of going back to the first question, like, you really have to have a good foundation, like a good friendship with the person. And this definitely ties in with good communication. Like, I find that with Tommy and I, you know, when we're getting on really well and when we're not fighting and we're like living our best couple life, whatever, like, it's always when we're communicating well, when there's like open communication. If he's annoying me about something, you know, I tell him in like a mature, calm way, or vice versa. If I'm annoying him, like, we'll talk about it and we'll move on. And that open communication is super important. So, like, don't be afraid to have that from the very beginning. And I do think, like, setting things from the beginning is super important. Like, if you let someone get away with something at the beginning, it will keep happening. It will keep happening. So you have to build a good foundation and have good communication. And I always say as well, if you are, you know, looking for someone, or you're like not maybe in a relationship right now and you're kind of like wanting to get into one, don't like limit your, what's the word, like your criteria. Like, I feel like me and Tommy are kind of a good example of this. So when we started getting together, like all our friends at home, or like even my friends or his friends or whatever, they were like, oh my god, like I would really never put you together. Like, you're so different, but you just really work so well. And like, I still get that to the day, and I'm sure his friends think the same. Like, we're so different, but we just work really well, because I think those differences, like, we really balance each other. I think that's why we kept going back to each other. Like, you know, when we broke up, that's the reason we kind of kept talking and we wanted to get back together, because it's like this like synergy, this balance. So when you're looking, you know, when you're dating or when you're looking for a new relationship or whatever it is, you know, don't limit yourself. Like, look for the good qualities in people. Like, of course, if someone is good looking, it is a huge bonus, but it's so much more important if someone is loyal and kind and makes you laugh and is just a good person you'll want to spend your life with, you'll want to possibly have children with, you'll want to do all these big things with. Like, look at that in a person. Like, don't just look at, is this guy rich? Is he really hot? Like, all these things. I think a lot of girls do make that mistake, or a lot of guys make that mistake as well. So yeah, be open-minded and look for that person that balances you. Okay, so then the next question is, your workout journey so far needs some motivation. So yeah, before this, if you've been kind of watching my vlogs and following on Instagram and stuff, I came back in January this year and I made a lot of changes to my lifestyle, my workout routine, my food. I was really on like a good track, and then this all happened, and understandably, like, I haven't been as good as I had been. I've still been keeping it up to a certain point. Like, I've been doing my at-home workouts. I've definitely been eating a bit more. I think it's just the way I handle stress sometimes, but yeah, that's like, I'm not even worrying about it, because I'm actually so glad that I had set up, you know, pretty good habits and good routines in January and February. But basically what I had been doing was, I'd been doing a lot of boxing, a lot of Pilates, some cardio. Like the boxing class I would go to, there would be some elements of kind of HIIT, so like high intensity interval training mixed with boxing. So I found that really good for getting like my heart rate up and just getting fit. And then that balanced with Pilates I found was a really good mix, because that would help me to tone up. Like my core definitely got stronger, my arms got stronger. Just, I thought the mix of the two of those together really worked for my body personally. But what I am learning with fitness is, like, I could say boxing and Pilates, but that mightn't work for you. I think everyone's body is so different. Or like, I might follow someone and they're doing a certain workout, then I might try that and it just mightn't work for me. So just try lots of different things. There's loads of online stuff right now. A lot of like fitness people I follow are doing free workouts almost every day. There's something. So it's a great time to try like different classes. Like my boxing class Rumble is doing free workouts every day, so definitely jump on and test that out. Obviously it's not the exact same, but it's a good way to test it. And then there's Pilates online. If you've never done Pilates, it's a great time to figure things out. So I would say that has been a great thing for me, finding the workouts that work and then pairing that with really healthy eating. It's honestly the only way, and I try and do the 80-20% rule. So 80% of the week I'll eat really healthy and clean and make my own food at home and just, you know where everything's coming from. And then 20% I'll have my glass of wine, I'll go for my dinner or my lunch or whatever it is and enjoy life as well. And I'll be sticking to that. Once this is all over, I'll definitely be going out for my dinners again when we can. So yeah, finding the workouts you love and doing the 80-20% rule. Okay, this question I thought was kind of interesting and something that I haven't really ever talked about that much. So it's any negative experiences working with brands, etc. I'm obviously not going to name any names, but this is something I've definitely experienced. I mean, I've been doing this for like 7-8 years at this stage. You know, there's been good experiences and bad experiences, but there is one at the back of my head that does stand out. And the reason that it was a negative experience was not because of the product or the brand. I absolutely loved using the product. I was so proud of the collaboration. I knew it was like performing really well. You guys seemed to love it as well whenever I would talk about it, and you would tell me you were buying things, and it was really nice to see it. But what happened towards the end was that the brand, unfortunately, were really trying to control my content. So I would kind of go with an idea about how I wanted to do something, and then I would do it that way because I know that's what, like, you know, was true to me, and I know that's what you guys like to see, and that's how I do it, and that's my style. And you know, nobody knows you as well as me when I'm putting out content. And they were coming back and, you know, they were saying, no, I want you to do it this specific way and say this specific thing and cut this out and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, that's like not worth the money to me. It's never, a collaboration will never be worth money to me if I can't, you know, decide on the narrative myself. I'm not gonna say something that I don't believe in. I'm not gonna try and get you to buy something that I do not believe you should be buying, or say it in a way, you know, that's morals for you, and you have to be so true to yourself in this industry. And that's, I think, the only reason I've survived this long, because I've definitely over the years got really good in making those decisions, whether it was right or not to work with the brand, and when to stand up for myself and when to not renew the contract, even though it could be a lot of money for me and it could pay my rent and be very helpful. If I don't believe in it in my heart and I can't have my creative direction within the collaboration, then it's never worth it for me. So yeah, there has been some negative, but definitely way more positive. I'd say like 90% positive, 10% negative, and the majority of brands are so amazing to work with. And as the years have gone on, it's actually gotten better. They really know that we know best when it comes to the kind of content that we should be producing, and the brands that give me that freedom definitely are the brands that, like, I stay working with the longest. We see the most results. Like, for example, Be Perfect Cosmetics. I'm an ambassador for their 10-second tan, and it's been 3 years now. And the reason I say to them all the time, but the reason it works and the reason that I still love doing it, and you know, it's still working in relation to sales and awareness and everything, is because they give me freedom. Like, they trust me. They trust that I know how to talk to my audience. They trust that I know how to promote a product, to bring it in naturally to my life. They know I love it. So that obviously makes it really easy as well. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents. But 90% positive, 10% negative, probably like every industry. And then last question, have you ever been in a position where you've worried, struggled financially in New York City? My answer, 1000%. Like, if ever I write a book someday, I will tell all the details. But this city, like, drains you of a lot of things. One, your energy, it's, you know, very tiring, go here. And number two, your money. It is such an expensive city, and honestly nobody can prepare you for it. Like, people can tell you, you know, you need to bring this amount of money, you need to have this amount saved before you move here, and they try and like give you that advice, but honestly you never know what's going to happen here. And money is just this like constant thing you need to be making money all the time here, because you're spending it just as fast. Like, rent, your bills, you're going out, you're getting coffee, like, it's just a constant. I don't know, I think money just disappears here. I'm convinced it just goes faster than anywhere else I've ever been in the world. So when I moved here first, of course I struggled. Even in my J1 summers, which is a bit different because it was just first summer, I wasn't like living here. But I definitely struggled because I was interning. I used to work in a bar as a waitress the days I wasn't interning, just to have enough money for rent and just day-to-day life. But I went home with zero in my bank, absolutely zero. And then when I moved back full-time, of course I was a bit more prepared. I had savings, but my God, you just fly through them your first couple of years here, because obviously you're paying this high rent. All these unexpected things come up when you move here first. Your work isn't, you know, as well paid. You're brand new. It doesn't matter what college you went to or how many followers you have or whatever it is. You're new. Like, they put you to the bottom. Like, you're down low. And especially like when you're moving here when you're young. Like, I was 20, 22 or 3 when I moved here. I didn't have that much experience. So your wages aren't that high, and then you're trying to like enjoy the city and meet new people, which often involves going out. So there was so many times, I would say in the first 2 years, that I was just living like paycheck to paycheck. And then I think the more I got settled in though, obviously I was working full time at the beginning, but not at the very beginning. It took me a while to get that job. So the first 6 months I was here, I was just living like day to day, week to week. Then I got the job, and that obviously gave me a bit more stability. I had a proper income coming in every week. I was able to put a little bit away, savings, not that much to be very honest. It was probably year 3 here before I even thought about started saving, and now I'm like year 6 and I've definitely got a good handle on it. So if you're new here, do not worry one bit if you're not saving, if you're struggling. Like, it takes time, but you will get there. It is a hard city and it's very tough to get set up and get established and get into good systems, but when you do get into them, it will get better and it will get easier, and you'll just figure things out better. And the longer you're here, hopefully, you know, your income will increase every year. That's the good thing about New York, especially if you're in the corporate world. Every time you change jobs, more often than not, your salary goes up a good bit, and that's why people do change jobs a lot here. And then obviously in the influencer industry, every year I'm growing and my income is thankfully going up and the business is growing. So it just takes time. But yeah, I 100% struggled just like everyone else. I remember one time, I think it was actually on my J1, which is a bit different, but I remember I was finishing my internship and I was like coming home. I was so broke. I had like barely enough money, and I remember meeting Tommy, and I think he had to like loan me money like at the time, and I hated having to ask for it. Like, oh, I hate it. People always say as well, oh, your parents are like, you come from a rich, wealthy family, blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. Like, all bullshit. I don't get money from my family. I don't ask them for money. Like, that's not me. I actually hate that. It kills me to do that. So when people say that, or some people even these days will say, oh, Tommy must be making a lot of money if you're living in an apartment like that. I'm like, no, we're both comfortable, but we both pay half. I pay half of absolutely everything. And when people do send me messages like that, I kind of like laugh a little bit, because they obviously haven't followed me, you know, the whole time, and like seen the journey of the different apartments, and they're slowly but surely getting better, and my jobs are getting better, and it's a process. It does not happen overnight. So I do take those comments with a pinch of salt, but always know it's against all my morals to ask for money. So that time when I did ask Tommy to loan me, I think it was like $50 or something. I like can never forget that. Like, it's like always in the back of my head, and we laugh about it sometimes. But anyway, that's all my questions and answers. I hope you enjoyed that. Sorry if I went on a bit longer. I always do in these videos, but I actually feel so much better after doing that video. I recommend, if you wake up any morning not feeling good or not feeling like 100%, do something that you love doing, even if it's only for like 10 minutes. Like, we all love doing something. Like, just do that and it will hopefully get your spirits going again. So hope you enjoyed. Let me know if there's any more questions. Leave them in the comments below and I'll get back to you. I'll be back with another video on Sunday. And yeah, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already so you won't miss any videos. Stay safe, stay at home, keep busy, keep getting in touch with people, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.